Hey Gear Facts friends, and welcome back to Gear Facts. Well, the Casio CTK series is very long and time honoured, but I do love this one. This is the CTK-7200 from around about 2016. The models starting with 7 in the CTK series of that time have these drawbar sliders, which are designed to emulate the sliders on an old style electric organ, but it also incorporates other functions as well as the general CTK functions such as a mass of good sounds. It also has envelope editing and effects that are surprisingly good. So where to start with such a comprehensive home keyboard? Well, I guess the first thing to do is show you the default sound, which is of course piano. It's quite a mellow sound to begin with, but of course there are heaps to choose from. There are 15 piano sounds to choose from, and then it goes on to layer those piano sounds with other sounds, in this case strings and piano. There are just as many electric piano sounds to choose from as well, and they're also really good. That one's particularly juicy and mellow. And this one. And it just goes on and on through lots of great sounds. I can't believe how many electric pianos there are on this thing. Just getting in a little bit closer now, and I know that the screen looks very white on your image right now, but anyway, just look over here. We've got different categories, 10 different categories in fact, for all different kinds of tones, including user tones. You can make up, how many is it? I think it's about 100 user tones of your own. Yeah, 100 user tones. So that really gives you plenty of scope to change the envelope, change the touch sensitivity, change the rhythm that's associated with a sound, and of course add effects. All of that can be saved in each of your 100 presets. If you don't want to go scrolling through all the presets that you've saved though, there are quick access registrations. Having this LED here is a big improvement on previous Casio models, because when you choose patch number 3, you know you're editing patch number 3. In previous models there was no way of telling which one you had selected, so you'd make your edits, and I would find at least that sometimes I would go back and edit number 2 and then save it as number 4, which was some other great sound that I'd made, so I would lose number 4 and have 2 copies of number 2. Very annoying. So this light overcomes that, and I know it doesn't seem like much, but it really helps the workflow. We'll have a quick run through rhythms as well, although I have to say I was a little disappointed to find that the rhythms sound pretty much exactly the same as all the other CTK series of this era. But anyway, let's play one. And we have fill-ins, of course. Let's try something a little bit more exciting. Bit of a strange ending there, but very realistic sounds. It hasn't built on the previous models at all, but they're still nice rhythms. I do like the pitch bend and modulation set up on this one. A lot of people wouldn't like this system, but it works for my style. Just your normal Casio style pitch bend wheel, and modulation is just a button. So basically your modulation control is either off or it's on. It's not continuous like on other models. It saves space, and I like it because I can control it so easily with one hand. So it's something like this. very simple and straightforward. It's in the center here that we start to see the really fancy features of the CTK-7200. One particular one I like is that you can add effects to an external signal. In this case, I've just plugged in a mic, and I can add delay to my voice. And there are also plenty of other effects. The compressors work really well, making the volume really tight on my voice there. And special effects such as phaser, la, or just chorus to fatten up the sound a little bit. Flanger is often a really fun one to use. And there are many different kinds of delay. And you can go really far out, like this wah sound. Wah, 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 wah. Or if you're feeling hardcore, you can choose distortion. This is a combination of distortion and flanger, and sometimes you have to watch the feedback a little bit. Here's a good example. And ring modulator can serve as a kind of a vocoder. Like this. Hello, I'm a robot speaking. Anyway, I'll switch the microphone off now. The point is, there are about 110 effects in the DSP section alone that you can choose from and add them to any external signal. And that's completely separate from reverb and chorus, which run on different channels and can be controlled independently. Also, you can even record audio. So press audio record. It's telling us now that it's going to write file number 1. And to begin the actual recording, we just press again. Okay, this is another test of the Casio CTK-7200. Press record again to end our recording. It writes it to the SD card, which is stored in the back of the machine. Now you'll notice if I scroll down this way a little bit, our play button is flashing. Okay, this is another test of the Casio CTK-7200. So that's how we record audio, and it's only limited by the amount of memory on your SD card. You can also create songs on your sequencer or even record live playing, and it will convert it to a WAV file on that SD card. What I find particularly exciting about this feature is that I can now take phrases and beats and things like that from my other keyboards, particularly vintage keyboards, put them on the SD card memory, play them back, and sequence things on the Casio CTK-7200 to line up with them. Another feature that I love is the Arpeggiator. I think we all love this one because it automates our playing, and it's also a very good ideas generator. Note the small logo at the bottom here. I don't know how clearly you can see that, but it's a line with a downward arrow, and that means that this button has a different function if you hold it down for a long time. So if we hold it down for a long time, we will see that Arpeggio type comes up, and we can choose from something like 162 different types of arpeggios. 20 of those are just harmonizing things, which will allow you to play chords with the individual keys. But talking about arpeggios right now, I'll just choose number 124, which is Funk Bass 3. Now when I play, you'll think, well, hang on, that's not doing any arpeggio at all. And that's because we did the long press, which is choosing our arpeggiator. We didn't actually switch the arpeggiator on, which is done just with a short tap of the switch there. Let's listen to a couple of others. There are lots of arpeggios that are just mathematical in nature, like up or down, or chord pulses, but there are also plenty that are quite melodic. They're generally very good at staying in time with the rhythms too. Getting back to our center panel again, we've got a song sequencer which involves sequencing the onboard patterns. You can also mix and match patterns and of course record your own melodies. Down here we've got our effects, which we already talked about a little bit, and there's also a mixer control where you can route 16 channels any way you like into the DSP and the other effects, as well as controlling their overall level. Right, here is the tone editor, which is really good, but I won't talk about it right now because I've made a whole other video about this feature alone, and I'll put a link to that at the end of this one. And finally we've got our utility controls for our SD card there. Checking out our back panel now, that's power there on the right. Here we've got a headphone socket as well as left and right line outs. That little level controller there controls the level input amount for microphone, which is that socket. There's also a very small audio in jack there, but it's the next one, that 6mm jack, that will allow you to record external audio. The final socket there is for your sustain pedal. And panning over a bit more to the left, you'll see that we have USB for the usual computer interfacing and an SD card slot, which is unbelievably handy. And further up the panel, you've got quite a small and unassuming Casio logo. I know a lot of you Gearfax geezers who love playing organ sounds will be saying, well, when are you going to use the drawbars? Well, again, that's a subject for another video on its own. In summing up, friends, I love the Casio CTK-7200. It's beautifully designed, it looks nice, it operates nicely, although I have to say it's not without its classic Casio quirks. You have to know the interface a little bit. It's worth getting in and reading that manual because you really can draw a lot out of this excellent home synthesizer. And I deliberately choose the word synthesizer because it's more than just a home keyboard. You can do so much with sound on this machine. Anyway, there are going to be more videos about this fascinating instrument, so for now that's the Casio CTK-7200. As promised, I'm putting up those links to other related subjects, but for now that's it from Gearfax. Please like, comment or subscribe or share with other people who you think might be interested. That would be awesome. Thanks for watching Gearfax, guys. Have a great day.